an idea of what the inspiration was behind this and what your idea was, why this has been created?
Yeah. So I went to university like 15 years ago, and essentially at the time I was disabled, but I hadn't been diagnosed, and so there was very little support that I was given, and I was really struggling to make work and sort of keep up with industry standard, because there were so many barriers. So I ended up going into full-time work as like a front of house manager, and then I had reasonable adjustments and occupational health, and I basically was told that I couldn't do that work anymore. And off the back of that, I just thought, there's so many barriers in place with for people with hidden disabilities, and being a theatre maker, albeit retired, not by choice, I just thought there needs to be more work to highlight hidden disabilities and like the barriers that people face. And I was really fortunate earlier in the year to get a micro commission from Unlimited to start developing this piece. And I've been working a lot with kind of other like disabled queer artists and looking at like the lived experience of people and like the internalized ableism and the imposter syndrome, and but I wanted to make it fun and I wanted to make it joyful.
You can tell that out of the piece.
Yeah, and also because it can be difficult. There's sections of the piece that I really struggle with, because admitting about feeling like a failure and stuff, and it was hard to write it and it's even harder to perform it. So I just wanted to make sure there was fun stuff in there, so it's relief for the audience and for me, because it's hard to talk about this stuff.
Yeah, definitely, and especially as a theatre maker, you're pulling things out yourself, and it's kind of a little bit of an extension of yourself, isn't it? So let's open it out to the audience then. What sort of things did we really enjoy about this piece then? Is there anybody that enjoyed, anyone who wants to kind of point out some of the things that they enjoyed?
Yeah. I like the integration of the audio description. I've not seen that done before. I've seen other kind of ways of doing it, but specifically the audio description I really liked, because it didn't feel like it was in there for no reason, because you were playing with it, which was nice.
Well, the audio describer, the narrator, is in the audience front row. That's what we're doing. Yeah, it's really important for me to integrate access into the work. So my rehearsal process had integrated access, shorter days, more protected rest days. I have this butt cushion that I always take with me. Everyone on the team can have an access rider, and so I've done integrated audio description, but with its development, I really want to do creative captioning, like sci-fi style, and also I would prefer it to be in relaxed environments. So like I would have bean bags and mats at the front so people can lie down and watch it, and so the integrated access is really important for me. So thank you for saying that you enjoyed the audio description.
Where do you see this being performed? And you just mentioned about bean bags and cushions.
Yeah.
Where's this being performed, if you could take it out and about?
I'd love to be able to take it anywhere. I feel like I want to package it into a suitcase. It's all on one track. Like, it's just me. There's no props and stuff at the minute. I've got my little costume and stuff, which my mum made. Yeah, I'd love to be able to perform it in non-performance spaces, because I think I want to reach communities that feel like the theatre's not accessible for them. So any space really, and I just need to get myself some like LED lights really, so I can jazz it up a bit.
Nice one. Is there anyone else that had something that they really enjoyed about the piece? I'm really struggling to see. Yes. Go on.
Are you hoping to keep it as a solo work, or do you think one day you can create it into multiple stories? Like, what are you thinking in that kind of sense?
I mean, because I'm playing on the words like space chronicle, but it's space chronic ills. So I'm like, there could be multiple versions of it. It is a big story or multiple stories, and the process for me was really collaborative. I had a lot of artists involved in the making of it, and I really like working with other people. But it was just more sustainable to do it as a solo piece, and that's why I use the audio as well. Because it's like, how much would it cost to tour with, a full team of people? It's cheaper for me to do it on my own, and that's really sad actually, that there's not, the funding is like awful. But yeah, I'd love to do loads of different versions of it with, and the idea that maybe, the narrator and the virtual assistant come in at some point and you see them in reality or in like holographic. That'd be cool. There's no money. I've got no money to do that, but that would be cool. Projection. Yeah, but can you imagine like a 3D hologram of you? That would be so cool. So if anyone in the audience has got loads of money, let me know.
What sort of things could we do as a creative, what sort of things do we think Ash could do to kind of develop that piece, then grow it to enhance it for the audience's experience? Does anyone have any feedback around that? Yeah.
I thought the last bit where you kind of spelled it out to us was very impactful, and maybe if it was either that bit was longer and you could tell the story, because we obviously had a description at the beginning, so we knew what it was going to be about, and then you opened up and told us your personal story at the end, so we're probably starting thinking, oh, I get it and I understand it. But if it was just the piece, then the descriptive bit was probably quite shortened at the end. So maybe that bit could be developed, because I think that bit is like the big message. So
that's great.
Maybe we would spend too long thinking, oh, where's this going, or what's it about, and like figuring out the meaning for then us to get to the message, and it ended. So I think maybe like the balance should shift slightly.
I'm really hoping.
I thought it was really good. The idea was really good.
Thank you. I'm really hoping to make it probably 50 minutes.
Hour long show.
Like 50 to an hour. And then my other idea to look at access stuff was maybe could it be like an hour and 20 show with an interval? I would never do like physically I can't do. I mean, one of the reasons why I lie down in the middle is an access provision for me, so I get a rest. And also it's fun. And I'd really like engaging with audience members and just like being that close and stuff. But yeah, I definitely want to look at like making it longer and getting deeper into those stories. Does anyone, like, I was just wondering, like, how does the character of Commander Astronomy come across? Is there any like thoughts or descriptors? Because it's quite a complicated character. Well, in my brain it is, so I don't know like any thoughts
really
about.
endearing.
It's joyful, childlike.
Really fun, and it's like we've got so many points of reference with like Star Trek and like the Star Commander that as soon as you walk onto that stage, we've already got an idea of who that character is without you having to do too much work. And then when we go deeper into it and find more layers to it, we're already ready for that. So it's worth doing that.
Oh, good. Has anyone got any thoughts about Ava? You know, the virtual assistant, who's like helpful but not always. Is there anything like that resonates with anyone about that?
I think you could play a lot more on, you know, as she mentions about doing mindfulness and doing yoga. Because that is such a huge part of people who have chronic illnesses. I think you can, like, there is so much further you can go with that. And I think that needs to be bigger.
It's almost too helpful.
And I know you mentioned about the advice, and at least it's not unsolicited ones. I think if you show us a little bit more of Ava giving that unsolicited advice, because we get it all the time.
Yes, we
constantly. It'd be really nice to see, because I mean we spoke before, so we know that well. It would be really, really nice to see more of that in the piece, so that then that moment just hits a little bit more. Yeah, it was a really good.
Is there anything that didn't work that you think I should just scrap? And I'm really open to like honest feedback about that, because I don't want to continue developing stuff if it's not going to work.
It worked for me when you were down here, and I really liked it. But I was really close to you. But I just wondered how it was for Jake in the corner and the guys up at the back. If they, I don't know if you could. You could say. That's fine. Then I loved it.
Couldn't say.
Couldn't say. I think that was what Leah said. I think is right. I think for that immediate section, it was perfect.
Yeah.
But I just think when people further about, especially if you want to expand it for longer, that there was 5 minutes where you were down there on the floor that people couldn't see.
Did you feel like you lost interest or focus?
No, I think the sound was, because obviously there's a lot of voice in that bit, but it just, I think for some people it might have struggled to have just comprehended all of that bit.
Yeah.
That was the only little bit that it went quite close, so those saw it and it was intimate for them, but possibly for the rest.
Thank you.
It's keeping that intimate bit without, like, excluding other people. So whether it can kind of move, or as you said, obviously, like where the audience is at and things. That's a really nice idea as well.
Or make it purposefully exclusionary to make a point.
Yeah.
So I could swing one way or the other, can I?
Ooh.
Oh.
Yeah.
What you just said, mate, what I'm going to say was a bit redundant, but like, you could be more, take more risks with it, and actually rather than just stay there, you could do a bit there, then you could go up there, and you can go up there, and you could play it, like go melodramatic with it, and like, and start playing what you're doing there further up, so that, and even going into, I mean, you could even go into the audience to do over somebody, you know, like you could actually go up.
Something we were talking about before is part of the access work that I want to do is around consent, and so like neurodivergent people, like autistic people, for example, would potentially struggle with that kind of that boundary being crossed. So I want to be really careful about that. But then I suppose could create a space for, you know, beanbags and mats, and if people sit there, it means that you're going to be more interacted with, and then people can sit further back and stay as an observer. So
if you want that, you could play with, even you could use the consent.
Yeah.
In that as well, it could become part of it if you wanted to do that. It's like, oh, bringing it in like the consent. Is it okay if I do this?
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you. That's great. Did it feel intrusive for anyone? I mean, I felt that I was getting good vibes back. It was really lovely. I enjoyed. Thank you so much.
You got the pat on your head.
I did.
You got the pat.
My friend said to me, "If no one pats you, I'll do it." And I was like, "No, don't. I want to know the truth. Like, if an audience feels like they're not on my side and they don't want to pat me, like, what am I doing wrong?" Because I kind of wrote the character and sort of tried to make them likable. So I'm like, if I don't get the solidarity pat, what does that mean?
I'm not gonna lie, I just want you stood like this. I looked at it, just like this as like an alarm clock or something. Just go, gravity can hold us. I think that's fantastic. Can we please give a massive round of applause?